You're listening to the Connect Church podcast featuring the pastoral staff of Connect Church in Tupelo, Mississippi. This podcast delivers biblical truths, hot topic discussions, and encouragement you need on your daily journey to live like Christ.
The Human Resources Department requires that I be available.
Not sure if the invite cards are nifty, but the mustache is definitely not.
He's in charge of our children. What are we doing?
I don't.
Here are your hosts, Terry Pierce, Andrew Pierce, and Tanner Stahl.
Thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
And welcome to the Connect Church Podcast, episode number 12 of the Connect Church Podcast. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever, YouTube, wherever you can find podcasts. We're probably there. Go ahead, like, share, rate, subscribe, whatever you got to do to help us spread the message and the word of the Connect Church Podcast, where we are here for you. And you are also here for us as you provide us feedback, so we appreciate that. What's going on? Let me just go ahead and tell you, y'all are in for a doozy today. I can tell already. All right? I can just tell.
Are we going to do a special for the 13th? Next podcast will be 13.
Do we skip number 13 and just go straight to 14? Like, you know, the lucky number 13 or the whatever it's called. You okay over there?
Yeah, my mic's a little loose today.
It's a little loose?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
sorry.
know how to.
You've always had a couple screws loose.
My
I mean, as long as it's not falling off, I think you're
That's
okay.
true. I'm good.
Don't
I'm
touch
happy.
it. Don't touch it.
Yeah, just leave it be and you'll be okay.
I will not fix it.
But anyways, yeah, I can tell you guys are in for a doozy. Andrew just came in. He's like, shut up. I don't have anything to say. Let's just do this.
Andrew mood.
I am full-fledged. I have 40 worst, no best. Let's do this.
So we'll save that part for the second segment in the podcast.
All during Holy Week.
Yes. And well, we can just tell you from the, and you'll hear more about it later, I'm sure, but it's Wednesday at 11 o'clock right now, and it's been a week already, you know.
Man,
so
yeah.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
It's been
Yeah.
yeah.
Last 3 days, it
exactly.
felt like 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah, last night at dinner time, Ashley was, we were having dinner with Alan and Courtney Rooker, and she's like, man, it has been a week. And I said, well, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And we
anyways,
ain't even got to the Arkansas thing yet. So,
we'll shut up. Anyways,
We're all glad to be here.
yeah, exactly.
What a joyful day in the Lord.
Jesus saves.
Anyways,
We're hoping to be a blessing to all you listeners today.
That's right. So speaking of being a blessing, we did wrap up the Philippians Joy in the Journey sermon series. So that is over with, and you can watch and listen to any of those sermons on the Sermon Playback app or on our website at www.triconnect.church.
Well, technically, we're just taking a time out. This is because we're just in chapter 2. So there's 4 chapters in the book of
Yeah,
Philippians.
Tanner
Yeah.
didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know we were coming back to it. I thought you were just done.
No,
There's more than 2 chapters in Philippians.
Well, I
Tanner.
knew that, but I thought you were done with your sermon series.
It's on our church calendar in May. So.
I thought we go into like Thankful May or something like
June.
that. Oh, that's June.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we don't have to be we have to be joyous during the spring. We don't have to be thankful till the summer.
I'm so glad that I make my staff do these notebooks in September because they obviously follow them really well.
Well, it changes just about every week.
That's very true.
Called the Holy Spirit.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't throw away all those Philippians images and logos and stuff like that yet. Then good. Good to know. Okay, well, never mind. We're not wrapping up the Philippian sermon. Well, let's wrap up the first portion of the
We're just
first half.
taking a little
First
first
half.
half. So
Okay.
yes.
So just summarize it real quick. What of the first 4 sermons, what's the one thing that we need to be getting out of this?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Tanner. And our statement that we've been giving to everybody that hopefully we have now, that you commented on the first section, really like that, is that joy is an attitude of the heart determined by confidence in God. And that's just the best summary I can give of what we're talking about, is how to move into, which we actually talked about this Sunday, which is a great lead into, is having the mind of Christ. So now we're really getting down to the nuts and bolts of how this attitude of joy is. You've got to learn to change your thinking.
Right. Some notes I wrote down was you gave I didn't write down who it was that you referenced in your sermon.
Sure.
But the 5 perspectives on the cross, and 2 of them I had really, and of course actually 3: God's perspective of the cross, Christ's perspective of the cross, and then our perspective of the cross. I've always thought about those for sure. That's easy,
Right.
kind of. But the other two, Satan's perspective
Yeah,
and
that was
sin's
good.
perspective,
Yeah.
I'd really never thought about that before. So tell us more about
Yeah,
that.
D.A. Carson is like, for us pastor, geeky types that love to read commentaries and do all of those scholarly things. He is like, just the of Mount Rushmore. He's on there. And so he's just a great New Testament scholar. And so I'm not, not my ideas, but just sort of expounded upon what he has shared with us. And, you start off with God's perspective, and we understand that, like you said, he's a propitiation for our sins, means that he's paid the price. And so we understand that he looks at Jesus as being that one that absorbed his wrath. And then Christ's perspective, again, very familiar with that one, the fact that, he says on the cross, not my will, but your will be done. And he's given his life as a ransom for many. So, just powerful truth, but like you said, more familiar. And then we get to Satan's perspective, and that was really cool. You could tell the audience eyes, got a little bit larger, and so it was sort of, ringing a bell there. And, it simply means that, and this is so cool, and in the midst of this Holy Week, in the midst of a, challenging week for some of us, the cross means the accuser's defeat. And that is something that we've really got to begin to wrap our minds around. We are in spiritual warfare, and we're going to unpack a little bit of that today as we go through the podcast. So hang in there, be ready, and we're going to talk to you guys about that. But the only thing that Satan fears is the cross, is the statement that I made in the message. And, and for those of our listeners, we shared with the audience, go back and check out the whole sermon. But if you'd like to get Satan off your back, then, the way to do that is bring up the cross, because that is what he knows ultimately is his defeat.
Yeah. There's a good Southern gospel song called "God Saw a Cross" that the Kingsmen sang, and that reminded me of this because of that perspective. It's a great song.
The Kingsmen,
Kingsmen.
you're going old school there,
Going
big
old
boy.
school,
So,
yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, that reminded me of that. Andrew, what was some of your thoughts on these perspectives?
Yeah, I know with our Connect group, the big, the big one that we talked about was Satan's perspective, of this. And we kind of broke it down. And I don't know if it was Terry that said it in these words or D.A. Carson, but he said it's the accuser's defeat. The cross is a symbol of defeat for Satan, because he realized it was the moment where at first, and it kind of, I think it was Lucinda or somebody or Mary, one pointed out, they said that, like it was the moment where Satan was like, all right, I got him. He's dead. Like he was nailed to the cross. And yet the cross was also going to be the symbol of 3 days later with the empty tomb of his complete defeat. And we just talked about how, the accusations against us, in all honesty, are probably legit. Yeah, I am selfish. I have a quick temper. I'm aggravated today. Whatever it may be,
He's triggered.
Yeah, I'm so triggered today. But I have sinned. I have messed up. I have fallen short of the glory of God. I have lied. I've done whatever. Insert, things we're not supposed to do and things that separate us from God. And so those accusations are legitimate, even from sin's perspective of this. But with what we kind of talked about, it's Satan's defeat. It's the accuser's defeat. Even though I stand accused, Jesus gave me his righteousness. Jesus made a way that I don't have to face, like it'd be like me standing in the courtroom and they're like, you're charged with this and this and this and this and this. And like, I'm standing there knowing, yeah, I did all of that. And all of a sudden the judge looks at me and says, not guilty, because that guy beside you paid the price for you. And then, the accuser on the other side is like, what? And that's Satan. He is defeated by the power of what happened at the cross. And man, that was big time, I think, for all of us, realizing how significant this week is and what it means through the cross.
All right, something we discussed in our group on Sunday was our perspective. Like I said, that's kind of the easy one to talk about, but at the same time, it's really important to realize. You talk about having humility. How when you think about what Christ did on the cross, like the literal physical beatings that he took before getting on the cross and then being nailed to a cross, he did that for you. Like how that makes you feel so small,
Right.
But at the same time, it also makes you feel so loved.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a balance there that we discussed there. When you think about the actual what happened.
Yeah, and I think that, a great word picture of all of that puts both of those in perspective. And one of the things that we hit on, Tanner, and I love that D.A. Carson brings that out, and, we really, the rest of the message flows out of that last thought of our perspective. And, we've heard the story, and again, it's challenging. I am really struggling this week with, I get to tell everybody about Easter, and that's, really cool and fantastic, and I get all that. But do you realize that there's not a person on the planet, for the most part, or there are a few, but for the most part, literally the whole world will recognize this event this weekend. And so and how do you tell that again? So that's a challenge, and and yet it is the most wonderful story. But I think that we get so familiar with the knowledge of this, and this is where the Lord's really working in my life this week to bring it this Sunday, and I'm so excited about it. And this is what we talked about the cross this past Sunday, the humility. I love that subject that we dealt in that Paul deals with in the book of Philippians, the humility of the cross. We know and understand the crucifixion, and the nails, and all of those things. But man, what difference does it make if it doesn't translate into you becoming a more humble person until you realize that you owe Christ everything? And a great word picture that summarizes Satan's perspective as well as a visual for our perspective is, I remember the movie The Passion, and going there to watch it, and which was a big struggle for me as a Baptist, but I actually went to the movie theater. And anyway, so,
you're not allowed to do that.
I'm sorry, but I'm over that junk. So anyway, Avengers were great too. But anyway, when I watched The Passion, and there at the movie theater, and I'll never forget that scene that is still resonates within me about all of last weekend and this Sunday. We're going to bring that out again. Is Genesis 3, the serpent, the snake, which I hate snakes. And the serpent, deceives Eve and Adam. And then it shows the picture of the serpent in the, there in the garden, and there is he's trying to, tell Christ, that you can't do this, and Satan and Jesus steps on the head of the snake in that movie, and that's what the cross really does. So.
Yeah, that's cool. And then that leads us into the 4 things that we need to appreciate regarding the cross, or meditate on, I think is how you put it in the sermon. And those points were Christ, his humble renunciation, his humble incarnation, his humble crucifixion, and then his exalted position. And for me personally, I'll just start off with when I think about these things, I personally just don't ever think about the Christmas part of the Easter story. Yeah. Like
the incarnation.
The renunciation, leaving heaven and then becoming a man. Like I don't put that in with my Easter story, and we really should.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a great thought, and I it's just so cool that verse 6 says, and who though was in the form of God, it's easy for you to say, who though was in the form of God, did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped. And again, the whole message was on the humility. It's one of my favorite messages I've ever preached on the cross, and yet it really had very little to do with the details of the cross story. Again, familiarizing, but I love Paul's emphasis on the fact of what you just said, Tanner, that, he renounced his position, and yet we can't even begin to describe it. We talked about the Council of Nicaea in 325 and Athanasius, really butchered that today too. But anyway,
try that one again.
Yeah. And so as he made the argument that he was fully God and fully man, don't ask us to explain all of that magnificent creed, but just to know, and this is what you take away with it, that he was willing to do that for us. So that's.
Can you imagine us in that position? Like just for happenstance, just pretend that we have that kind of glory, and God's like, "Hey, I need you to go do this." Yeah. Dang it. Do I have to? That's not how it happened.
And I'll let Andrew address to this, but let me just say as a pastoral thought, I wanted to scream, and I didn't. I did very good. I didn't let go of, my pastoral thing. But if, I'm just going to be honest with you. People say, well, I just didn't feel like coming to church today. I had a scratch on my head, or,
I was out of peanut butter.
Is that a real excuse?
Well, it might as well be. It's the same as everything else. And, I saw a cloud in the sky, and, I was a little tired. And Jesus was on the cross, and he gave up glory to come down he left heaven to come down for us. So, Andrew, you probably better take over here before I share.
On that note, I think it all brought it full circle for me too, is talking about his humble renunciation, the humble incarnation, his humble crucifixion, and then his exalted position, and those kind of four things. Terry said the key to all of this, for Philippians 2, to the cross, to our salvation, it's others.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of the key. That's what Jesus had on his mind, was other people. Yeah. This was going to suck. This was going to be hard. This was going to be the first time the Trinity was not the Trinity, because he had to take on the wrath of God that we deserved. He took our punishment the entire time. He was thinking about other people. And I had a guy in our Connect group Sunday night even say, he said when we were talking about it, he said, why is there always 3 crosses? You see for Easter, and said, why is there always 3 crosses? He said, I know there was a thief and a murderer or somebody else on the other side. And he said, the thief accepted Jesus, said, today you'll be with me in paradise. But why not just include that one? And I don't, it was not me at all. It was the Holy Spirit, because I was like, I have no idea. But it was the Holy Spirit just saying, well, he died for that other person that rejected him too.
That's good.
That's why we put those 3 crosses there, is because Jesus's mind, even at that moment when he had nails through his hands, he wasn't concerned about himself. He was in agony. He was in pain. He was about to be eternally separated from the Father for the first time, and yet he was thinking about others. That's the key to all of this. If you want to have joy in the journey, if you want to do this, you have to have humility and put others before yourself.
That's good.
Very good. All right. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I've got to read from one of my favorite all-time authors, and C.S. Lewis, and we had this quote up on the screen at the end. It was in the sermon notes too, but and it says simply this: in the Christian story, God descends to reascend. He comes down from the heights of absolute being into time and space, down into humanity. He goes down to come up again and bring the whole ruined world up with him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we look forward to that day when he comes back.
Man, I'm ready.
Let's go.
Let's do it, man. All 3 of us.
Yes, 100%.
Hey, wouldn't Easter be, it would just be the climax of this whole thing, man, if Jesus comes back Sunday.
Amen.
Oh, man, that would be incredible. Please, Lord, quickly come.
Yes.
Anyways, all right. Well, that wraps up our sermon recap. And again, you can hear that whole sermon on the Sermon Playback podcast on Apple Podcasts, or you can go directly to our website on the media section there and listen to that sermon. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will come back with the best and worst of the weekend, some bracket stuff. Y'all stay put. We'll see you in just a second.
Have you been looking for a place to call home? Need a place that makes you feel welcome and valued, while at the same time growing spiritually in Christ and biblical truths? At Connect Church, our mission is all about loving God, loving people, and making disciples. When we gather together, there's a spirit of worship, a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of welcoming to anyone and everyone who's seeking God's will and truth in their lives. We invite you to visit during one of our 2 Sunday services to discover how Connect Church can help you grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Our friendly and spirit-filled worship environment is just the place for you. Visit Connect Church this Sunday during our 9 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. services, located at 1650 North Veterans Boulevard in Tupelo, Mississippi. Or you can check out our live stream on our Facebook page or our website at www.triconnect.church. Again, that's www.triconnect.church. We look forward to connecting with you.
And we're back on the Connect Church podcast. Thank you for listening and tuning in with us. We appreciate it. We enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. I do want to give a quick shameless plug. As I sent out the church email list this morning, I noticed that we have 142 recipients on our church email list. And we have how many people go to this church?
Yeah.
A lot more.
Way more.
About 600.
Yeah, so if you're listening, go to our website, and if you're not on our weekly email newsletter, and you're not on getting the prayer list and stuff like that, we may send 2 emails out a week, maybe.
I don't even think that much.
Maybe 3.
That's a great reminder too, and because I have folks come up to me all the time. Hey, I didn't know this happened. Hey, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know somebody was going through this. Well, if you're not on the email prayer list, you're going to be out of the know.
Exactly. So go to www.triconnect.church/about-us. Just click that About Us tab, and you can click to get signed up on the email, or connect, or the contact page has it also on there. So sign up for that email list. All right, let me get into some fun stuff here on the podcast that we've been doing. If y'all know that we have been doing a bracket, a greatest TV show of all time bracket, and it has been a lot of fun. We've had great response on the polls, on the poll questions when we send that out. So we're down to 8 shows left, and I'll only give you just an update. It's Wednesday right now. The voting on this round closes Friday. So right now, the 8 seed Andy Griffith show leads the Jeffersons by about 10%, I guess. It's 56-43, something like that.
We're moving on up.
Yeah, the Jeffersons are going down, evidently. That's what. But anyways, Andy Griffith show, this is to get into the Final Four. Let's see, the King of Queens. Oh, wow. King of Queens is demolishing the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
60-40.
I love the King of Queens.
I do too, but I'm a Big Bang Theory guy all the way in this matchup for sure.
Well, the King of Queens are essentially my parents, so...
Yeah. Well, more your mom, than I'm more Raymond. So,
That's true.
and even Raymond...
From Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yeah, but he's not on the King of Queens.
Well, he's a guest on there.
He is a guest. You're right. He's a guest on there. All right. And then here's an even bigger demolishing. I think Chuck has been like all over this one. Psych has a 75-25% lead over the Golden Girls.
Oh, that's Chuck totally voting.
Chuck is voting. Yeah, he's out there doing it.
I'm not going to lie. I voted for Psych twice just because I was bitter the Golden Girls beat The Office.
I know.
That is the only reason.
That was a tough matchup.
Betty White, you're going down.
The Golden Girls beat The Office? I didn't know that one. Wow.
It's crap. It's rigged.
She's the only one left.
It's rigged.
All right, and then our last...
They're all dead.
Yeah. No, there's one left.
Yeah, she's only 170.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, fun fact about the Golden Girls. Did you know that they were all the same age?
Did not know that.
They were all the exact same age. Yep.
Did not know that.
Yep. Even Estelle. Anyways, all right, and then our last... pairing here, the Brady Bunch trails Friends, and this is close. Like, Friends has been destroying every matchup they're in, but Friends is 52-48, so it's close over the Brady Bunch. I know. So
no way.
That was you remember when the famous Brady Bunch, Marsha. That was Andrew his whole life. Aaron.
Yeah, I believe it. So that's going on. We can vote in that round up until Friday, and then we'll put out the winners of that one, and you'll be able to vote in the Final Four to see which is the greatest show of all time. And then just to recap our actual March Madness bracket tournament challenge, which I don't care about anymore.
How am I doing? I didn't look. How am I doing?
Why not, Tanner?
Yeah,
What's the matter?
Shut up. Let's see. I don't know who Spartix is. Do y'all know who Spartix is? Spartix is leading this bracket challenge. And has a good chance to win it, really. So if you are Spartix and you're listening, please let me know who you are, because you may win this thing. And then Chuck, speaking of Chuck, is in second place, and then Bailey Riggs down in third place.
But see, I don't know who Spartix is, but Chuck has never even watched a basketball game.
Neither
He
is
tried to
Bailey
play
Riggs.
with it. Bailey Riggs,
she has the 11 seed play-in game at UCLA in the Final Four.
Stop it!
Yeah,
oh
she
my
did.
Gosh!
She got it. So and she has Baylor winning it all. So if Baylor wins, she'll probably win the whole thing.
Oh, she is. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think she was the only one that picked Baylor.
Yeah, she was the only one that picked Baylor. Everyone else has
left.
Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And just for fun, the fourth place bracket right now is the Connect Church Podcast host, which is the bracket that I made, and I just went all chalk. So it's, there's no upsets. Yeah. And so if Gonzaga wins out, that bracket has a good chance to win. Yeah. But that would be pretty sad if the chalk bracket won the whole thing. But anyways, all right. So, that's our bracket. Spartix, if you're out there, please let us know who you are. I want to know who is in first place in our bracket. It doesn't have any name or anything to it, so it is what it is. All right, we're going to get into the best and the worst of the weekend.
The worst of times. Wait. Which was it?
This is the worst.
All right, as Andrew alluded to, he already doesn't have any bests.
I have one.
Oh, you thought of a best?
I thought of one.
Okay, what's
and you'll
your best?
appreciate this one.
Okay.
Guess where I got to go, Tanner?
Oh, yes. You're welcome.
Oh, wow.
I gave him a gift card
Wow.
for Christmas, and he finally went and cashed that thing
That's
in.
true. The closest Tacos for Life is in Collierville, Tennessee, and so we were gonna make a run up there for like last minute nursery baby stuff or whatever, and go to Target or something like that. Ashland's Mecca, and and we had a gift card for lunch. Tacos for Life. Got the Hawaiian shrimp.
It's the best.
Is it puffy?
On a
taco?
puffy taco.
On a puffy taco, not fluffy, a puffy taco.
puffy.
And then, of course, I just had to get the carnitas.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Those things are unreal.
With the pesto rice.
Yes.
and the honey
then
limeade.
We even had, so this was Ashland's first experience, and we're like, 90% of what Tanner says, except on spiritual matters, is full of crap. So you kind of disregard it, except when it comes to Mexican food, Tanner knows
He's the king.
He knows
That's
what he's
right.
talking about.
That's
and
right.
He's
we
the
went up
president
there.
of Mexico.
Nora was like, she was vibing. She was dancing in her high chair, like eating. It was a quesadilla, but it had like actual queso on the quesadilla, like not just
Yeah.
cheese. Like it was a kid's meal, and she was happy.
Would you shut up, Andrew? Because I'm getting really hungry. If
The
you keep
kids,
talking.
I will say, the kids' meals at Tacos for Life are incredible because you can get the quesadilla, and that's great.
And I got to finish it.
But you can get they also have the 2 taco kids meal for like $5, and you get chips and queso with it
Wow.
and a drink, and it's
Wow.
like that's
and
worth
just
it.
so y'all understand, if you've never been there, they probably. I'm gonna sound blasphemous, okay, but hear me out. They might outdo Chick-fil-A in like second mile service. Like
Yeah.
they were
they're
constantly
good.
checking on us, brought us like a little extra queso and stuff, refills constantly. One of them just like was like, "Your baby's so cute." So I mean, they're brown nosing
all
us too.
good, all good things come out of Arkansas. I'm just telling you.
I don't know about that, but Tacos for Life, that was definitely my high point.
Yeah. Tacos for Life is fantastic, and I beg them. I tweet them all the time. Come to Tupelo.
I'm
I'm
gonna
with
join
you.
with them.
Anyone
I'm with
listening
you on
out
that.
there want a business adventure, like get a franchise and bring one to
The
Tupelo.
manager that was there, she was there the time that the three of us went and
Yeah.
everything back when we we're coming from a conference.
Yeah.
And I literally asked her, I said, "Do you guys have any like ability to come into Tupelo, Mississippi? Or I mean, like I'm even fine with New Albany or Oxford,
Yeah.
or like just a little closer, something, anything." No, well, she didn't say, but
Yeah.
I don't know if she has that jurisdiction.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, if we get fired or we lose our jobs, let's us 3 go in and start one soon.
I would do that.
I'm down.
I would do
I'm
that.
down.
I thought you were going to say like Steak and Shake or something. I didn't know what you said.
I'm
I
gonna
didn't know where you're going.
I'm gonna start a Tacos for Life when I retire.
Yes.
No, I'm definitely for a Tacos for Life above Steak and Shake.
All right, Terry, what's your best of the weekend?
Well, speaking of food, Andrew got me on the mood to. We went and saw. We ate really great in Nashville this weekend. Oh, I visited my youngest son Adam and his,
that's nice.
expecting wife. Yeah, but the food was really good. And so we did have a good time, although the disc golf got rained out. But we were able to go to the Flat Tire Diner. Caroline was not in favor of it. She wanted to go to some, hippie place that was going to have like healthy food for Blaine and her. Thankfully, the line was out the door, so me and Adam went out.
There you
We got
go.
Sausage, biscuits, and gravy. We did a
Oh,
brunch.
man.
They had crunchy French toast. Never had that before.
sounds
good. Crunchy.
Crunchy French toast that just make you slap your
How was
mom.
it crunchy? Like have pecans
looked,
on it or something?
It looked like cornflakes sort of
Okay.
on it, and it was just unbelievable. I poured honey all over it,
Oh,
and
yes.
oh my goodness, Adam had a cinnamon bun that was just like the bun happy people, whatever they are in the airport. It was-
Cinnabon.
yeah, Cinnabon. Yeah,
the bun happy people.
I'm like, Burger King?
I thought you were talking about like Pentecostal women with the bun.
That, by the way, that is not a good look for most women. It's just a bun thing.
It's okay. To
I'm
each their own.
Ponytail's better, but bun, no. Anyway, that's the old.
We call it the doo-doo bun.
That's the old lady that worked in your library in school. So
Lunch lady.
Yeah, lunch lady. Yeah, lunch lady too. Yeah.
Millennials bringing it back.
My best of the weekend. Even though the Hogs did not advance to the Final Four,
They lost.
we lost. You can't after 25 years, 26 years, you cannot complain about an Elite Eight appearance.
No,
That's-
absolutely not.
The team exceeded expectations, and that's not even my best of the weekend. Like that's great, but my best of the weekend was the
Baseball.
Razorback baseball team.
Yeah, I knew that was
Oh,
coming.
yeah.
Sweeping.
Yeah.
I mean, this is legit. Let me tell you the backstory here. Between Arkansas and Mississippi State, and they're a great program. I'm not knocking them whatsoever. It's that other program in Oxford that I care less about. The state program, like Arkansas and Mississippi State, they always sweep each other at home. So whoever's the home team,
Wow, interesting.
This is the first time that Arkansas has not got swept since 2014
Wow.
in Starkville.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's just insane. So for us to go in there and get all 3 of them, that is incredible.
And
So-
y'all can go to Tanner's Facebook page and
Yes.
see him sweeping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has a
little subtle
humor there.
If you live in South Tillow, that one neighborhood he lives in, I'm so sorry.
I love it.
The state fans have a few other emojis on that page, but anyway.
All right, so that's my best, the hog sweeping equality program. All right, anyways, all right, now your worst of the weekend. Let's go ahead and give us your list, Andrew.
Oh my goodness.
We don't have time. Podcast over.
Yeah. My daughter's been sick for like 16 years and she's only 1 year old. And no, I mean, it's
And
just.
she is sick a lot. What's
She
the deal
is.
with that?
So she had strep less than a month ago. The week after that, she came home puking her guts up and had the stomach bug. The week after that, she got her chicken pox, measles, all these like vaccines and stuff like that she was supposed to have. So she was recovering from that. And now she's had 15 different tests. I just had a 9 o'clock appointment to take my daughter to the doctor, which I didn't get out of there till 12. So thanks for making me get there at 9 to make me sit in a waiting room with a screaming 1-year-old for an hour and a half. But after all of that, we finally ran all these tests just for them to tell us, hey, try a different antibiotic and there's nothing else we can do.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, I'm just done. I've been like just dealing with allergies. I've never had allergies before. I think it's like a post-COVID thing or whatever. It's been a week, y'all. And it's little things. I'm going to be honest. It's not even like legitimate reasons. My whole face and body's not covered in warts and bruises like Tanner and stuff. But
Don't give away my worst.
sorry.
It's
I gave everybody a visual they didn't want.
it's Nora's the Castillo side, for Blenn's family.
Castillo, is that how you say it?
Castillo. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's just been a week. It's all good. Joy in the journey. Hey.
There you go.
What's your worst, Terry?
All right, I'm going to be a little bit more serious today on this one, but it is Holy Week, so it's probably a good thing. But all honesty, as our listeners are tuning in today, and we love our church family, and you guys are awesome prayer warriors. Talk a little bit about this tonight briefly, but we have the privilege to pray for one another. And I've watched Satan, we've been having a taste of revival here at Connect Church, which is obviously good. But, Tanner's getting ready to share with you his physical things. And, Andrew, with Nora this week. And we literally watch our church secretaries, ear infection and just, everybody's being attacked for, other things. It's not just the physical side of stuff, but, even, it's, we talked about it earlier in the podcast. The humility is that, when Jesus loved people, and I had a church member text me yesterday and said, Pastor Terry, you're going to get criticized. And when you try to love people, you're going to have people that reject, the truth of the gospel and even, counsel and advice and all those kind of things. And then Andrew says, he says, but listen, all you got to do is keep doing the right thing. So even when you try to love people, and Andrew just said it, those 3 crosses, Jesus died for the person who rejected him.
Yeah.
And we just got to know the enemy hates what we're doing, but it is a cool thing. So Jesus takes the worst, and it's been a bad week, for all of us, but we know Sunday's coming, and we know God's going to give us the victory. And so just keep praying, because we're going to get through this week. And I know that we got to be doing the right thing, because man, It has been a challenging week for all of our staff.
And like you said, the worst day, Jesus dying on the cross, leads to our best day. That's
and you got to keep
the
doing
hope.
the right thing, because even Jesus died for those that rejected him.
Right. Well, I mean, mine's not as serious, but I guess I can play along with that.
Follow that one up, big boy.
I don't know. It's pretty serious.
I know.
What you shared with us.
Yeah, you've had a rough week, dude. I'm not going to lie.
So,
when your music minister's fingers are swollen.
So Sunday we had Connect Group out at Trey State Park. Kim decided, or not decided, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it. Kim said, hey, we're camping out here. We got a spot. Why don't we come out and have a picnic? I said, that's a great idea. There's a great playground for the kids, so we go out there. And nothing out of the ordinary. We have some hot dogs. We sit around a campfire and we discuss, and it was great.
Did you sing Kumbaya?
We didn't sing a word. It was awesome.
had a fire.
I said that. We had a fire, and we sat around the campfire and discussed. And like halfway through the discussion, I feel like a monkey. I'm over here scratching every orifice of my body. I'm trying to be discreet
Don't
about
visualize
it.
that.
Scratching your what?
We get in the car to leave. Ashley's like, what's wrong with your eye? And it looks like I've got a bug bite on my eye or whatever. I get home, and I take my clothes off, and I am just covered in whelps and just I look disgusting. That's all there is to it. We'll leave
Leprosy.
it at that. Yeah, she actually said that. She goes, "Do you have leprosy?"
You're
Anyways.
allergic to outdoors?
Yeah, so I go to the doctor Monday morning, can't get in. I have to go to a walk-in urgent care thing, and they're like, "Oh, it looks like you caught something fungal. Like, I don't know what this is." So they gave me a pill and some cream and a steroid shot, and it started to go down a little bit or whatever. Well, yesterday afternoon, it's all coming right back. Like, I'm just getting worse and worse and worse. My hands are all swelled up. Like, I'm not playing the piano or nothing. And so I go to see the other doctor on an appointment that I can get into, and he's like, "What'd they give you?" And I showed him the meds that they gave me. He's like, "Oh, that's not going to do anything." And so he loads me up with some other steroids, and I feel great today. Like, the whelps I still have some, but they've gone down for the most part. That's my worst. Like, I haven't touched or hugged my kids all week. They're kind of sad about it, but anyways.
Yeah, stay over there on your side of the microphone.
Yeah. I'm not going to call myself a modern day Job by any means, because that's just stupid. But I had all this crap all over my body and it won't go away. So that's my worst.
Boils.
Yeah. And the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely not healthy." I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Didn't he diagnose you with like diabetes?
Yeah. He asked. He's like, I'm glad you brought that up.
Visual diabetes.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I will be very angry when I get this bill. Like, he's like, "Do you have diabetes?" I was like, "I was adopted as a kid. I have no idea my medical history, so I don't know. I could have it. Who knows?" He's like, "Well, let's just do a quick finger prick blood work test, and we'll see if you have diabetes. I don't want to load you up with steroids if you have diabetes, blah, blah, blah."
Of course, Andrew and I love the fact that Tanner walks in, the doctor looks at him and goes, "You're not healthy. You got diabetes."
Anyway, so we go to the lab, and there's a trainee, of course, back there, and the other woman's like showing her how to pump the blood to the finger so they can do the finger prick and everything.
Me and Andrew's going to pass out.
Stop.
No, anyways, it's just she pricks it and it goes or whatever, but. So the doctor's standing there, and he's like, "What'd you have for lunch today?" And I said, "I had a fruit smoothie for lunch today." He goes, "Oh, you're not diabetic." Prick. Here comes the blood. There goes the test. And, of course, it comes back negative. I don't have diabetes. So if I get a bill for like a couple $100s for this lab that says I don't have diabetes, I'm going to be livid, because clearly he knew that I was not. So anyways, that's our worst. All right, enough complaining. All right. We love you. Easter egg hunt this Saturday.
Yes.
If you volunteer to be there at 8:45 at the park, Veterans Park, gates open at 10. The hunt starts at 11. We're going to have lots of fun. And then our
35,000 eggs.
Do you want to promo Love Reigns real quick?
Yeah, Love Reigns. We've got 3 services. Don't miss it. 8:15, 9:30, and 10:45. And we're going to be coming in. You're going to hear testimonies. It's going to be a great day. And basically, a subject matter that, listen, awaken your heart to the fact that love reigns in your life.
That's right.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. We are out. We'll see you Sunday.